We caught a glimpse there of Eric Turner in the 33X car as Jimmy Owens puts a lap on the 44 of Earl Pearson Jr. So Owens has lapped up to 12th as EPJ goes a lap down, and that's certainly going to end his bid of winning his first career Show Me 100.
Only 3 champions in the history of this series in the 44 car there, sponsored by Lucas Oil. In a Bobby Labonte supported program, they've been developing a new chassis here over the past year and a half, and they're definitely making strides. He's been in the top 10 a lot, but unfortunately, the 4-time champ is still struggling here tonight. Looks like Kevin Sadler has pulled off to the side here with the number 3 car, and hopefully he can get going and back into the race. Well, this race is presented by Protect the Harvest, and if you're wondering what that is, it's an organization to protect the agriculture industry in America. It's a cause that is near and dear to Forrest and Charlotte Lucas's heart. Of course, Forrest, the Cattleman of the Year in Missouri just 1 year ago, has dedicated a lot of time, effort, and money to support the Protect the Harvest. Go to protecttheharvest.com to find out more. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network, the unpredictable Pro 2 class heads back to Lake Elsinore, California for Round 4 of the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. Welcome back to the 20th Annual DART Show Me 100 presented by Protect the Harvest. The restart has begun. Jimmy Owens again has survived a number of charges out of different competitors, but still remains out front, and now he's about to get another one.
Jimmy Owens back on track here at the DART Show Me 100. You mentioned picked up his first win of the year 1 week ago, $10,000, and also won a 2012 Chevy Camaro. As he's trying to go back-to-back, pick up his second win of the year and his second straight Show Me 100. Deep in the field, oh, and now Scott Bloomquist up into the fence in turn number 1. He was up battling with Owens for the lead, started in that 3rd spot, and into the fence. It looks like front-end damage on the 0.
Anybody else would call it a solid start with 13 top 10s, but only 2 wins for Scott Bloomquist is a slow start by his standards of the 2-time champ.
The question of what's wrong gets old. You know, I mess with things and do some things sometimes different with my cars, and just because I'm always looking for something new, and you might find that it's fast in one condition and then the track changes and now you're nowhere close. That's frustrating, and we spend an enormous amount of time with our cars, taking everything apart, just double checking everything, and you know, fixing the problem is not a difficult thing. Finding it, I mean, the first race you start out with a DNF, you're already pretty far behind, especially when you look back at Jimmy didn't have one last year. So it's just hard to overcome.
The guys at this level and in this series are as good as anybody out there, and Scott Bloomquist, one of the best of all times. And speaking of one of the best of all times, Aaron Bates, Jimmy Owens is one of those.
I'm here with Jimmy Owens' crew chief, Chris Fox. Do you guys have the right setup to hold you off for the next 24 laps?
I don't know. It seems like we're fighting a tight race car. He's doing all he can do out there, so we got a good driver, and hopefully we can do it.
Dennis Erb Jr. down on the bottom, trying to take the lead away, and he hits Owens.
Into the left rear, coming off turn number 4. That could allow John Blankenship or Billy Moyer to get back up into this fight. Erb loses about 3 to 4 car lengths, as now Blankenship on his rear bumper.
And Dave is down at the cutaway car. He has more on the Jared Landers story.
Jared Landers dropped out of the race with a broken power steering line, he tells us. That's this line right here. It's driven off the engine and off this belt right here. It provides hydraulic pressure to make this car drivable. When that power steering went away on this fast racetrack, it's just physically impossible to handle the car without power steering, and therefore he's out of the race.
Tough night, I mean, and the car was so good as we go back to this battle for 5th. Austin Hubbard, Steve Francis, the Kentucky Colonel, also in that battle. Absolutely one of the best of all time.
Under 20 laps to go, and remember, Hubbard started dead last on the field. So between Blankenship, Earl Pearson Jr., and Hubbard, they are working their way to the front, and trouble persists for the 0 of Bloomquist, who started at the front of this field, starting to smoke again as he slows down in turn 1.
Yeah, obviously suspension damage. They must have felt like they had it fixed to come out here and pick up some points, but it's not going to be the case. One lap and he's off. Jimmy Owens out front by himself, but Dennis Erb Jr. running that really wild line there right behind him. Down low in 3 and lets it slide up in 4 and does seem to close the gap there.
Yeah, if we go back to Virginia Motor Speedway earlier this year, the Commonwealth 100, Dennis Erb was very fast on the racetrack. As he got around there, Jared Landers in the 5 would experience trouble at this race. So he has been fast each and every night so far this year of the series. Just can't pull off the big win.
We'll back out and pick up our leader. And then we need to talk about Blankenship because you mentioned it before. Picked up the hard charger at 3 events so far this season. Currently in 3rd, started 27th.
Blankenship really turning his career around, and I say career because last year picked up his first career Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series win. Been very fast ever since. You see Mr. Smooth, Billy Moyer up there. We haven't said a whole lot about Billy Moyer. We did mention a 3-time winner of this event, but you have to go back to 1996, the last time he did win the Show Me 100. We see the yellow lights coming on, so caution on the racetrack, and it is for the Hazard, Kentucky driver Eric Wells. Stopped on the racetrack, the 18E car brings out yet another caution. So another one of the big-time drivers out of the Show Me 100. Of course, we mentioned Scott Bloomquist back in the pit area. His night is done. The only driver to make every single feature event in the 20 years of the Show Me 100. Average finish of about 5th. Tough break for Bloomquist.
The Lucas Oil Speedway. It's the 20th running of the Dirt Show Me 100. When you come here, there's plenty to do, including go-kart racing, rides for the kids, and some rock and roll.
CBS Sports Spectacular presents the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, sponsored by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by Speedco Truck Lube and Tires, built for speed, staffed for quality, delivering world-class value.
Jimmy Owens has been the class of the field here at the 20th Annual Dirt Show Me 100 presented by Protect the Harvest. He's trying to win it in back-to-back years, but Dave Argabright, he might have some pressure from one young Mr. Blankenship.
Tom, what do you want your guy to do at this point? What's he need to do to win this race?
Needs to be aggressive, be patient, and drive the car. And he's done this before, and he's showing his stamina right now, and I think he's going to make it.
That's a good prediction.
John Blankenship right there beside him, too, on that restart. That's as good a restart as he's had, and Owens is driven away from everybody, although Owens does a good job right there out of 4.
Yeah, Jimmy Owens is really good on the top part of the racetrack as that cushion moves closer and closer to the wall. Dennis Erb Jr. taking a peek to the inside of John Blankenship as they battle for the 2nd spot. And we've seen these guys battle earlier this year, Virginia Motor Speedway. It was Dennis Erb Jr., John Blankenship going for the 2nd spot, racing up front in the Commonwealth 100, but Blankenship would cut a right rear tire and end his bid to win that race. And coming from the tail here tonight, Kenny is doing a great job and certainly wants to hold on here in the final 7 or so laps.
Absolutely. He's done a phenomenal job coming from so deep in the pack, and hopefully he will not endure the bad luck that everybody else has had once they get around Owens.
Yeah, we mentioned the track's getting wider and wider, that cushion moving closer and closer to the wall. The more they run that top part of the racetrack, it'll not only build that cushion up, but it will make it longer way around. If you don't have that gear to run the top, you could have trouble on the racetrack. One guy that did have trouble is Eric Wells.
Coming into the last 10 laps, Eric Wells was holding his own, but Eric, what happened?
I'm not sure. Something let go in the motor, I think, and we had a pretty good car in the race. We was running 7th or 8th there, and I don't know. The motor just went in turns 1 and it let go. I'm not sure. We're going to check it out. The guys at Roush Yates, they're already here investigating it, so we'll see what happened and try to get it fixed.
Tough end of the night for the number 18.
This racetrack has certainly put these cars to the test here tonight. I will tell you, man, Jimmy Owens is struggling with that car. It is not a happy handling car right now. Not sure what Blankenship has left inside of that thing, but he's closing the gap. You can see it right there as Owens' car is definitely tight. I mean, it goes straight right in the center of the turn where he needs it to rotate.
Yeah, Jimmy Owens isn't one of those drivers that we mentioned about Landers earlier that really back tracks the car in the corner. He keeps it nice and straight. So if the car is tight, meaning if the front end wants to push to the wall, it's tough for Owens to keep it straight and not get past.
Yeah, they call it understeer for our new fans as well, meaning it just does not want to turn. It wants to continue to go straight. So 2 laps to go here in the 100-lapper, $30,000. Jimmy Owens has led them all except for 3 laps here tonight. The 20 car has been very good, but he's fighting it now.
Yeah, John Blankenship again running that high line in turns 3 and 4, coming to the white flag as Dennis Erb Jr. takes a peek to the inside, almost into the left rear. But 1 lap to go for Jimmy Owens to go back-to-back here at the Dart Show Me 100.
Erb's done that so many times, right up by the wall. He's actually kissed the wall a couple of times. He's going to try it one more time on Blankenship. Blankenship comes after the 20 car, but it's not going to happen. Jimmy Owens goes back-to-back at the Dart Show Me 100.
A very impressive and dominating performance, leading 97 laps to take home his 2nd straight Dart Show Me 100.